Late Edition News at 10 with Ann Gownley. Sports with Beth Mensinger. Meteorologist Joe Garbacik. And senior news analyst L.A. Jerome.
Another possible murder in the city of Wilkes-Barre, and it's our top story tonight. Good evening. This is WYLN's Late Edition for Wednesday, November 6, 2013. I'm Ann Gownley. Wilkes-Barre police are now investigating what they believe is its 12th homicide. Bill Listman, Luzerne County's acting coroner, pronounced 46-year-old Eduardo Daniel Madeira of East Northampton Street dead around 1:25 this morning. Police say Madeira moved to Wilkes-Barre from Kansas City, Missouri a few months ago. A female resident came home just after midnight last night and found Madeira lying on the kitchen. City police, detectives, state police, and Luzerne County District Attorney's Office are investigating. Listman says they are currently considering this a homicide investigation, but until an autopsy is performed tomorrow afternoon, it is not official. The governor was in the region today. L.A. Tyrone has the details.
Tom Corbett was here as part of a statewide tour kicking off his re-election campaign. His main theme, he kept his promises.
I can stand here before you today and say the new bus that's out there right now, and in the signs that you will see, has added 2 words: more jobs, less taxes, promises kept. Because we keep our promise.
He says his main goal when he first ran was to return what he called fiscal responsibility to the Commonwealth, and he says he has.
We've taken the size of state government to a level that it hasn't seen for 50 years, and reduced it back to 50 years ago. Why? Because it's your money. It's not our money. We don't print money like they do in Washington, and they, as you can see, they continue to do in Washington. We have to be responsible stewards of the people's money. And that's exactly what we are doing. That's a promise that we have been able to keep, and we were able to keep doing it.
His appearance today was at Lindy Industries in Pittston Township. Why? Well, he says that firm is emblematic of the growth of natural gas in PA.
Lindy is an example of one of the industries in Pennsylvania that are growing. We're growing through the natural gas industry and through the energy industry. And it's the energy industry across the state. It's not just gas. It's coal. It's nuclear, it's wind, it's solar, it's hydro. We're embracing it all. But at the same time, we're keeping the promise that we would do it in a way that keeps our commitment to the environment. We passed legislation that's been some of the toughest legislation in the nation when it comes to environmental protection.
Lindy is not new, and it isn't solely a gas drilling firm. It has several different branches. Lindy's Kevin Lynn says it not only was glad Corbett stopped in, but also credited natural gas with the company's big expansion.
His suggestion that he come here to Lindy, and of course we're delighted about that because we think that we really are symbolic of what's going on in this whole Marcellus bonanza. And that is that we're a company, as our owner, Scott Lindy, said, as of 2007, he'd never heard of Marcellus shale. By 2009, it was $7 million of our $29 million in revenue. 2 years later, it was $54 million of our much higher revenue. We've basically, in the last 5 years, doubled our workforce and tripled our revenues, and it's all because of Marcellus shale.
After his address, Corbett met with reporters. He was asked about his low poll numbers.
No, I don't take any stock in them. There's one poll. But does that... It's November. No, we've been governing. You know, if you're looking for somebody who's going to make his decisions based on polls, then you're not looking for a governor.
A Harrisburg Patriot story which claimed the Republican Party had asked him not to run for re-election.
Governor, was there ever any discussion of you not running given the poll numbers, and was there anybody ever broached that topic with you? I mean, there was
zero. I've seen the newspaper reports. Yeah. I've also seen one newspaper story didn't bother to ask or didn't report what they asked our campaign. Not 1 ounce of truth.
The supposed war on education, opponents such as the teachers union have accused him of.
We have increased spending in education, K through 12, to the highest level it's ever been in Pennsylvania. How's that a war on education? It's not. There was $1.7 billion from the federal government that went away. I didn't take it away. It was never meant to go there in the first place. That was for shovel-ready projects, if you remember. I still don't understand if it went into the classroom, how that was a shovel-ready project.
Now, that was a reference to the federal stimulus money former Governor Ed Rendell used in education spending, and the fact that the federal government ended it after 2 years, which Rendell told everybody about at the time. Corbett also pointed out his current budget has basic education spending funded at $5.5 billion, the highest amount ever. To sum up his message in a nutshell,
Did I tell you what I was going to do? Did I keep my promise? That's exactly what I did.
Corbett is running very poorly right now in public opinion polls, leading some pundits to believe he'll be the governor to break the long-established streak of 8 years of one party in the governor's mansion, followed by 8 years of the other. 2 other previous governors have had polling numbers just about where Corbett's are now. Milt Schaap and Ed Rendell. Both won second terms. L.A. Tehran, WILN's Late Edition.
A man from Tamaqua was sentenced today to nearly 7 months in prison by senior U.S. District Court Judge Edwin Kozik for drug trafficking conspiracy in 2011 between Schuylkill and Berks County. 43-year-old Michael Beaver had admitted to conspiring with at least 2 other people to unlawfully distribute 80 milligrams of OxyContin pills. He was indicted by a federal grand jury in April of 2011 and pleaded guilty in October of that same year. Well, one of the hottest races in the Hazleton area, Hazleton City Council, and tonight we have your election recap. Hazleton City residents have changed the face of Hazleton City Council during yesterday's election. 5 men, 3 of them incumbents, battled for 3 seats. The top 3 vote getters, Hazleton City Authority Director Dave Sosar, local business owner and former mayoral candidate Jeff Cassat, and Councilman Jack Mundy. Sosar finished with the most amount of votes at 1,431.
To win this seat was important. To be with Jack, to be with Jeannie, to be with Jeff, to be with Keith. I think we can work together. I think we can move this city ahead. I'm very, very humbled by what has happened tonight. I promise the people of Hazleton that I will be there to answer your questions, and I will try to represent you in the best way that I can. I take that very seriously.
Sosar, a Democrat and former city councilman, ran alongside incumbent Democrat Jack Mundy. Winning last night's election, this will be Mundy's 4th term on council, something he says is accredited to the work that he has done over the past 6 years.
I want to thank all my family and my supporters that helped me. They worked very hard. This was a hard-fought election. It was my 4th one, but I'll continue to help the citizens of Hazleton as best I can. I care about the city of Hazleton. I want to move it forward and make it a better place. I want to thank all my family and my supporters that helped me. They worked very hard. This was a hard-fought election. It was my 4th one, but I'll continue to help the citizens of Hazleton as best I can.
Cassat finished as the 2nd top vote getter with 1,425 votes. He says he is excited to get to work with the rest of council and the city residents.
Well, I think that the other 4 people were fine individuals. That both, they all have the city at the best interest. People just wanted to change, and they felt confident what I could do, what I bring to the table. I'm just glad that the people of Hazleton want to give me a chance to help out, try to solve some of the problems that are facing us right now.
Council President Jim Perry's seat was also up for re-election. However, he came in last with 1,126 votes.
Well, I'm disappointed, obviously, because I care about my city and I wanted to see it improve. But if the people want, you get what you want. I mean, if that's what you want, change, you want change. I thought I ran a campaign which was honest and truthful, and I care, like I said, I still care about my community regardless of what happens. I'll fill out my, duties, whatever I have to do for my council seat, and we'll go from there.
Perry says during his last 2 months in office, he plans on continuing to work hard for the residents and work on the 2014 budget. Kevin Shatter, who was appointed by Hazleton Mayor Joe Yanuzzi to replace Karen Cabell on council a year ago this December, also came up short. We spoke with Shatter last night.
Well, obviously, I disagree with the results. I thought I had an actual plan to move this city forward, to overcome the blight that we have. I've always, led in a positive tone, and I think we need positive people to move this city forward. I remained open-minded with everyone on council, and I think we need open-minded people rather than voting straight party or, straight whatever person it is. And that continues, and hopefully that will discontinue as we move forward.
All tell us that the city's 2014 budget is top priority at this time, and since this year's election involved a council race, they will have until February 15th to develop a budget. All election results will be finalized next week. A familiar face is back at the helm of McAdoo Borough. Democratic candidate Stefan Hawley defeated Republican Mayor Dane Watrow by 122 votes. That number unofficial by the Schuylkill County Election Bureau. Hawley and Watrow ran against each other 4 years ago, where Watrow only won by a narrow margin. We spoke with Hawley today about once again winning the mayoral seat.
I'm trying to be humble about it, and it's hard. We're human beings, but it's a good feeling. But everything that I said I'm going to do, I'm going to go out there and try to do it. That's my job. The people elected me and my team to do a job. Now at the majority of council, we can do it, and we will do it.
Hawley says his first order of business is...
One of the first things we're going to work on is the quality of life ordinance that was in place, but just kept getting vetoing. I'm not going to veto it because I believe in the quality of life. Your neighbor has grass, 18 inches high. Now you could cut a lot of the red tape and get them to take care of it.
Incumbent Mayor Dane Watrow says he will continue to work hard for the residents in McAdoo during his last 2 months.
The past 4 years have been nothing but an absolute honor to serve the people of McAdoo. Thank you to all the supporters, my family, my friends who came out and supported me and my team. My team, they worked very hard. We went door to door. We ran a traditional campaign, door-to-door campaign. People seemed receptive, but we came up just a little bit short. But like I said, I do wish the incoming mayor all the best of luck and success, and hopefully we get to keep moving the borough of McAdoo forward.
Schuylkill County election results are expected to be finalized by next week. The youngest person ever to be elected will replace a veteran Hazleton Area School Board director in yesterday's election. It was just 4 years ago when Jared O'Donnell was sitting in a classroom at Hazleton Area High School, and now he will be sitting on its board. This year's election was O'Donnell's second attempt. He is one of 4 candidates who have won a seat. Incumbents Bob Mahalik and Clarence John, along with candidate James Chapman, also won in last night's election. Longtime board member Carmeli Yankiewicz was unsuccessful, obtaining at least 4,785 votes. Yankiewicz has spent the last 12 years on the school board. We spoke with O'Donnell this afternoon about this year's election.
I'm just thrilled with what happened yesterday. It was a decent turnout that we had yesterday, and overall I think voters really came together and saw that a change was needed on the school board, and other local municipalities had changes as well. So I was happy to see that voters instilled their trust in me to make a difference, to make a change in the school board. So I'm very thrilled that voters saw that yesterday.
O'Donnell says 2 issues that he wants to address immediately with the rest of the board is property tax reform and pension reform, 2 state issues he believes the board should become more active with.
2 issues that directly affect our taxpayers and also affect our students as well. So I really think that those 2 issues need to be brought up immediately. 2 legislators that have already said they're 100% willing to work is Tara Toohill and Senator Johnny Dechak, 2 local legislators that said 100% that they're in to work with us.
Well, in Schuylkill County last night, 2 big races unfolded between the sheriff and the district attorney. First, running for sheriff, the Republican candidate Pat Reynolds, the Democratic incumbent Joe Grudy, and suspended Gilberton Police Chief Mark Kessler as an independent write-in. It was an interesting campaign as 2 of the 3 have been in legal troubles. Reynolds was arrested and charged just last week with terroristic threat, simple assault, and recklessly endangering another person after pulling a handgun on another person. He received the unofficial count of 8,383 votes. Kessler had been suspended from his police position after a controversial few weeks of posting videos of him cursing and shooting off firearms on YouTube. No word how many of the 736 write-ins were for him, but at the end of the night, it was the incumbent Grudy with 20,770 people picking his name.
My main focus here is to capitalize on new things that we can do for the county, better things that we can do to run the county better, to help the citizens of this county, and make our office a better office to work out of.
Grudy said this election was more special than the last as a very important woman in his life made it to the celebration.
It was great. My poor mother, she's 85 years old, and if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And she hasn't been out of the house in the last few weeks. She was a little sick, back and forth to the hospital, but she was determined. She said, I'm coming down there election night, no matter how I feel, and I'm going to pin that badge on you because you're going to win another election. And of course, she was right.
For the district attorney race, the Democratic vote, Karen Burns-Noon was appointed to the position in 2011 after former DA James Goodman was elected a judge of the Court of Common Pleas. She looked to be the first woman voted into the position in the last night's race, but another woman, Republican candidate Christine Holman, had other plans. Holman edged out Burns-Noon by just 67 votes. We talked to the newest elected DA in Schuylkill County last night in Mahanoy City.
I plan on turning Schuylkill County around. I'm going to have a blight task force, a drug task force. I want Schuylkill Countyans to know that they can sleep safe at night. Right now, I think there's too much emphasis on plea bargaining. I think there's too much emphasis on bringing criminals to trial, but then dropping those charges. I am going to be pursuing the truth.
Both Grudy and Holman will be sworn into office in early January. Two newcomers will sit on Luzerne County Council in January. County voters have elected Democrat Eileen Sirokis and Republican and Hazleton native Kathy Dobash. Incumbent members Linda McCloskey-Hauk, Rick Williams, and Harry Haas had obtained enough votes to retain their seats. Incumbent Eugene Kelleher was not re-elected. The movie rental chain Blockbuster will be closing the doors to the 300 remaining stores in the country. Dish owns the company, and they said the closings will take place in early January, and the chain's DVD by mail service will also stop by mid-December. The Blockbuster brand will remain at Dish through Blockbuster at Home and Blockbuster On Demand, which streams movies and videos through your television, computers, and other devices. The last Blockbuster store in northeastern Pennsylvania was in Hanover Township before it too closed its doors on December 25th. And that is a look at tonight's top stories. Time now to check in with our chief meteorologist, Joe Garbacek, outside in our Bedrock Gardens weather set. Joe?
Thank you very much, Ann. Well, the good news is at this 10 o'clock hour, it continues to be mild. Generally, we've got 40s and 50s outside. But I tell you what, those winds are really becoming stiff out here. Those winds are really starting to pick up, and we're going to have to deal with those howling winds even as we go into tomorrow and some of the days after that. Add to that, we're going to have to deal with some of those decreasing temperatures, which is going to make it feel cold once again across our region. So take advantage of these mild temperatures while they last. We got some changes to talk about. Here's a look at some of the changes as I speak on the national map. Mild across the northeast, but much chillier as you head out toward the west. That chillier air on the move. I'll talk about it coming up next.
Meet Kate. She seems like an ordinary girl, goes to an ordinary school, and is part of an ordinary family. But there is something you don't know about her. Kate's dad lost his job a while back, and her family has to make tough decisions. And sometimes that means no money for food. This makes Kate's tummy hurt. 1 in 5 children in our country struggles with hunger. But there is hope. Your local food bank is able to provide food for your neighbors in need, like Kate and her family. And that makes Kate's tummy feel good.
Managing risk is more than just buying an insurance policy. At Dreyfus, our approach is different. We have 25 risk management professionals who have the tools and experience to help our clients avoid and survive unexpected events. We can help you with risk transfer, OSHA requirements, safe workplace, cybersecurity, and claims management. All of these go well beyond an insurance policy. We're also independent, so we can access dozens of insurance carriers like Grange Insurance, who can insure your auto, home, business, and life. Dreyfus Insurance since 1901 and Grange Insurance since 1935. We're committed to helping you manage risk.
Heritage Sure Save, your neighborhood full-service supermarket. Come see for yourself. They have the freshest selection of meats, cheese, and produce. Baked goods made fresh on premises. They have an in-store butcher who is happy to accommodate your special orders. Be sure to stop in and check out their unadvertised specials. You'll find them throughout the store. See their flyer for weekly specials. Heritage Sure Save, your neighborhood full-service supermarket. Don't miss what's going on this week at Heritage. Super hot weekly specials, too many to advertise. Only at Heritage, and a 3-day meat and deli sale. Are you tired of being overweight? Do you have food cravings? Do you get tired during the day? Do you have problems sleeping at night? Do you exercise but can't lose the weight? Have you tried every new diet? Fat-burning hormones working for you or against you? If you're ready for some answers, call 218-0002 and register for a free weight loss seminar from Rodman Natural Health Solutions. You can learn how to finally lose your weight and keep it off. Seating is extremely limited, so call 218-0002 now or go to drrodman.clubreduce.com.
Award-winning children's recording artist Laurie Berkner will bring her music to Hazleton when the Laurie Berkner Band performs at the Wiltsey Center at the Historic Castle on Saturday, November 23rd at 2 p.m. Doors open at 12:30. Tickets may be purchased through wiltseycenter.org or at Ticketmaster retail outlets including select Boscov's and Walmart locations. The Laurie Berkner Band, November 23rd at the Wiltsey Center at the Historic Castle. WYLN, your first choice for locally produced shows like Chef Lou, Jen-tastic Sweets, Off the Beaten Path, The Storm, and more. Find out how you can stretch your advertising dollars and be a part of the WYLN TV lineup. Call 570-459-1869, extension 1302. WYLN, we're your local network.
Well, we continue to be on the mild side of things here across the eastern seaboard. Take a look at some of these numbers. Pretty nice as we're in the 10 o'clock hour. We got some 50s, we got some 60s, and even some 70s from New Orleans down through Orlando as well as Miami. But you go further out toward the west, temperatures start to drop. 57 in Buffalo, 47 in Dayton, only 40 degrees now in Chicago. 34 in Minneapolis, 30 degrees in Bismarck, 36 in Omaha. So you can see the extent of where all this cold air is located. And there's actually a frontal boundary right through here. That's going to start to come into our area, and as it does, we're going to have to deal with some showers as we go through later tonight and into tomorrow morning. And then we're going to bring in some of that colder air across our region. But nothing to show you radar-wise right now. Live 35 Skycast Doppler. It's dry from Wilkes-Barre through Scranton, down through Lehighton, out through Danville, Williamsport, and Lewisburg. We don't have to worry about any precipitation to speak of just yet. Our live Lehigh Tire conditions outside our station in Hazleton, 51 degrees, pressure coming in at 29.97 inches of mercury. And there you can see the winds averaging anywhere between 5 to as much as 15 miles per hour. Our Robert Stevens Face and Body Almanac page for the day, 55 and 42 to split in temperatures. Averages are 53 and 36, 75 and 21. The record high and low, they still stand, 641, 454. Sunrise and sunset for tomorrow. Temperature-wise right now, 50 in Shenandoah, 52 in Berwick, 50 degrees in Monomoy City, 55 in Danville, and 51 in Stroudsburg. Here's a look at satellites and radar. Here comes the rain. It's out in the western part of the state of Pennsylvania, out through the Ohio Valley region, the leading edge of the cold front that's making its way toward the east. You can see those clouds continuing to be on the increase as well as you go from west toward east. And we will see that precipitation come through as we go through tonight. We'll have to deal with some of the rain, even as we head into tomorrow morning, possibly into the afternoon hours, part of the afternoon hours. And then after that, it's going to bring in some colder and blustery conditions. Winds are going to pick up, and temperatures are going to fall. Looking at the numbers through tonight, staying on the mild side, 40s maybe. But tomorrow, tell you what, going into tomorrow night, dropping into the 30s. And in noontime hour on Friday, notice temperatures only in the 40s. So it's thanks to this front that's going to come through, give us the rain, then it's going to bring in the brisk and colder conditions for the ending part of the week. So again, generally 50s, maybe some upper 40s will do it tonight. Rain spreads from west toward east, and heading into tomorrow, well, looking like temperature-wise is going to be cooler. Temperatures are going to start to drop off, but will still be mild. But then after that front comes through, it's going to pave the way for some much colder conditions on the extended forecast brought to you by the Wire Guys. A division of Arc Electric, windy for Friday, 42, only in the 40s for the weekend. 40s heading into next week, and some of those overnight lows in the 20s. Our evening Pennsylvania lottery numbers, the daily 983, the big 4, 7097. Quinto numbers looking like this, 07962, and a cash 5, 18, 21, 22, and 33. We'll continue to have more late edition, including sports with Beth after these commercial messages.
Bad credit? No credit, no problem. Valmont Auto Sales on Route 93 in West Hazelton can help. At Valmont, they offer a variety of clean and fully serviced cars, trucks, and minivans. Valmont offers easy credit. Buy here, pay here. They offer low down payments, same-day approval, and all their vehicles are only $65 a week. They are locally owned and operated. Call Jerry or Joe today at 501-2626. Valmont Auto Sales, located on Route 93 near Arby's in West Hazelton.
Welcome to Robert Stevens Face and Body, Hazelton's complete skincare center. Here, our licensed specialists will consult with you to discuss your skincare needs, rejuvenate you with our special facial treatments, and apply gentle, relaxing massages to melt your tension away, using all state-of-the-art technical treatments and superior skin products. So call today and let the transformation begin at Robert Stevens Face and Body, 788-7546.
We build tires, but not tires like anybody else. We build Cooper tires for people, not just cars. People who are chauffeurs and shuttle pilots, heavy haulers and heavy hitters. More than what your Cooper tires can do, it's about what you can do with your Cooper tires. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go.
Everyone knows Dan here at Heritage Hill. He's been devoted to our family of residents for over a decade. Experienced, nurturing, exceptional. It's what our care team is all about. Our residents enjoy personal care, homemade meals, day trips, clubs, and social activities. Shepherd's Garden, our memory care neighborhood, ensures a compassionate and secure environment. Come meet us. We're honored to share our hearts, our home, our heritage of caring. Heritage Hill Senior Community in Weatherly. Call today for your free personal tour.
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Here at Classic Floor Covering, we take pride in all our works of art. Take a look at a few. Classic Floor Covering. Who do you trust for your floor covering needs?
WYLN-CA 35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the children's programming report is on file for public inspection at WYLN, 1057 East 10th Street, Hazelton, PA, during normal business hours, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday.
Now that the regular season is over for high school football, a number of squads from the WYLN viewing area have moved on into the postseason. Tonight we are going to take a look at when and where and of course who they will be playing this week as they try to stay alive for another game. In the sub-regional Quad A district playoffs, which includes District 2, District 4, and District 11, the Wyoming Valley West Spartans will be hosting Easton at Spartan Stadium in Kingston. Valley West is coming in at number 4. They had only one loss on the season, and that was to Berwick. Easton is sitting at number 5, and in the regular season, only had 2 losses. Also in the district playoffs, in District 2, 3A, the first round, 2 area rivals will face off, the undefeated Berwick Bulldogs and the one-loss Crestwood Comets.
The two squads, led by their quarterbacks for Berwick's DJ Curry and for the Comets' Jay Popson, will face off Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. at Crispin Field in Berwick. Moving to Eastern Conference play in the first round. 3A, the Coughlin Crusaders pulled a home game as they sit at number 1. They will welcome Fleetwood, the number 4 seed, Friday night at 7 p.m. Coughlin was 7-2 in the regular season in the Wyoming Valley Conference. The Fleetwood Tigers, coming from the Berks Inter-County Conference, ended 6-4 in their regular season. In Double-A Eastern Conference play, last year's champion North Schuylkill Spartans will host number 3 North Penn from Lansdale. That game will be Friday night at Ghost Field at Spartan Stadium and is sure to be a good one. The Spartans in the regular season went 7-3 under first-year coach for North Schuylkill, Wally Hall. North Penn went undefeated in their conference at 7-0, but overall had 3 losses. In the Single-A Eastern Conference playoffs, the Golden Bears of Mahanoy area are sitting in the number 1 spot after a breakout season. They host the Nativity Green Wave Friday at 7 p.m. in Mahanoy City. Nativity made it to Eastern Conference play with a record of 4-6, but faced off with the Bears earlier this year and were pretty much leveled. But now with the records even in the postseason, it is a whole new game. Lastly, in the Eastern Conference, the Marion Colts have made it to the postseason, and they will travel to Muncie Friday night. The Indians of Muncie won 6 games and lost 4 this past regular season. They are seeded number 2, as Marion falls 1 spot behind them at number 3. The Colts surprised many people this season, winning a number of big games and ending their season overall at 500. That one kicks off Friday at 7 p.m.
We, of course, will have all the highlights and scores of those teams on Friday night, so make sure you tune in right here. And also, stick around because Ann Gownley is coming back after the break with your top stories.
Gould SureSave is proud to announce our expanded dairy department, which means a 10% increase in our dairy variety. Like our other departments, dairy is now computer controlled for temperature and food safety. With this, our 4th secondary cooling system, we now have well over 90% environmentally friendly refrigeration. New dairy door cases with LED lighting help create energy efficiency, selection, freshness, safety.
Stop by Gould SureSave and get everything you need for your family's holiday table.
There's a new game in town, Greater Hazeltonopoly. This year's must-have holiday gift is the Hazelton area's very own version of the world-famous game. This limited edition game is the perfect gift for the holidays, for friends and family, for students out of town, for members of our armed forces. It also makes a great corporate gift, too. It's a fun way to learn about our area and proceed support community projects in Greater Hazelton. But hurry, only a limited number of games are available, and when they're gone, they're gone. Greater Hazeltonopoly, only $19.95 at these locations.
Things move a little slower here in DSLville.
Slow pitch softball is big here. Really big.
There's not a fast food restaurant in town. 0.
Get the most out of the internet. Get Service Electric high-speed internet. Call Service Electric today to sign up.
Ho, 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 ho. Slow down. Tourists.
This week on Women Today, it's breast cancer prevention, treatment, and education. Dr. Denise from the Greater Hazelton Health Alliance is going to tell you about some very good new techniques that they have for early detection. Later in the show, we're going to do some cooking with Kathy. We'll pause with Virginia Jane. We'll find out who's going on that ghost hunt, and we're going to tell you about a very special Businesswoman of the Week who's great at multitasking. It's all coming up on Women Today. Join us.
Wilkes-Barre police are now investigating what they believe is its 12th homicide of the year. Bill Listman, Luzerne County's acting coroner, pronounced 46-year-old Eduardo Daniel Madeira of East Northampton Street dead around 1:25 this morning. Police say Madeira moved to Wilkes-Barre from Kansas City, Missouri a few months ago. A female resident came home just after midnight last night and found Madeira lying on the kitchen floor. City police, detectives, state police, and Luzerne County District Attorney's Office are investigating. Listman says they are currently considering this a homicide investigation, but until an autopsy is performed tomorrow afternoon, it is not official. The governor was in the region today. L.A. Tyrone has those details.
Tom Corbett was here as part of a statewide tour kicking off his re-election campaign. His main theme, he kept his promises.
I can stand here before you today and say the new bus that's out there right now, and in the signs that you will see, has added 2 words: more jobs, less taxes, promises kept. Because we keep our promise.
He says his main goal when he first ran was to return what he called fiscal responsibility to the Commonwealth, and he says he has.
We've taken the size of state government to a level that it hasn't seen for 50 years, and reduced it back to 50 years ago. Why? Because it's your money. It's not our money. We don't print money like they do in Washington, and they, as you can see, they continue to do in Washington. We have to be responsible stewards of the people's money. And that's exactly what we are doing. That's a promise that we have been able to keep, and we were able to keep doing it.
His appearance today was at Lindy Industries in Pittston Township. Why? Well, he says that firm is emblematic of the growth of natural gas in PA.
Lindy is an example of one of the industries in Pennsylvania that are growing. We're growing through the natural gas industry and through the energy industry. And it's the energy industry across the state. It's not just gas. It's coal. It's nuclear, it's wind, it's solar, it's hydro. We're embracing it all. But at the same time, we're keeping the promise that we would do it in a way that keeps our commitment to the environment. We passed legislation that's been some of the toughest legislation in the nation when it comes to environmental protection.
Lindy is not new, and it isn't solely a gas drilling firm. It has several different branches. Lindy's Kevin Lynn says it not only was glad Corbett stopped in, but also credited natural gas with the company's big expansion.
His suggestion that he come here to Lindy, and of course we're delighted about that because we think that we really are symbolic of what's going on in this whole Marcellus bonanza. And that is that we're a company, as our owner, Scott Lindy, said, as of 2007, he'd never heard of Marcellus shale. By 2009, it was $7 million of our $29 million in revenue. 2 years later, it was $54 million of our much higher revenue. We've basically, in the last 5 years, doubled our workforce and tripled our revenues, and it's all because of Marcellus shale.
After his address, Corbett met with reporters. He was asked about his low poll numbers.
No, I don't take any stock in them. There's one poll. But does that... It's November? No, we've been governing. You know, if you're looking for somebody who's going to make his decisions based on polls, then you're not looking for a governor.
A Harrisburg Patriot story which claimed the Republican Party had asked him not to run for re-election.
Governor, was there ever any discussion of you not running given the poll numbers, and was there anybody ever broached that topic with you? No. I mean, there was
zero. I've seen the newspaper reports. Yeah. I've also seen one newspaper story didn't bother to ask or didn't report what they asked our campaign. Not 1 ounce of truth.
The supposed war on education, opponents such as the teachers union have accused him of.
We have increased spending in education, K through 12, to the highest level it's ever been in Pennsylvania. How's that a war on education? It's not. There was $1.7 billion from the federal government that went away. I didn't take it away. It was never meant to go there in the first place. That was for shovel-ready projects, if you remember. I still don't understand if it went into the classroom, how that was a shovel-ready project.
Now, that was a reference to the federal stimulus money former Governor Ed Rendell used in education spending, and the fact that the federal government ended it after 2 years, which Rendell told everybody about at the time. Corbett also pointed out his current budget has basic education spending funded at $5.5 billion, the highest amount ever. To sum up his message in a nutshell...
Did I tell you what I was going to do? Did I keep my promise? That's exactly what I did.
Corbett is running very poorly right now in public opinion polls, leading some pundits to believe he'll be the governor to break the long-established streak of 8 years of one party in the governor's mansion, followed by 8 years of the other. 2 other previous governors have had polling numbers just about where Corbett's are now. Milt Schaap and Ed Rendell. Both won second terms. L.A. Tehran, WILN's Late Edition.
And welcome back. I am now joined by our senior news analyst, L.A. Tyrone. L.A., we might be able to get to the governor, but obviously this is the day after election. A lot of changes happening in our WYLN viewing area, but I want to start off with something we weren't able to do in the beginning of the news. Luzerne County Controller. It was obviously a hot issue with the previous controller, and now you've got a new one.
This gets all kinds of complicated. First of all, the controller position itself is not as powerful on the charter as it had been under the old commissioner form. That was one of the reasons Walter Griffith was critical of the charter, and it was one of the reasons some people who voted to study to create a charter didn't vote for that one. Nevertheless, it is what it is, and of course Walter had to resign because of the wiretapping charges. Walter Mitchell was appointed to fill out the term, but didn't run. I think that if you asked most people who had watched Luzerne County politics for a long time, myself included, we thought Carolee Medico-Olenjinsky was going to win. She has the name recognition. She had a track record in county governors prothonotary.
She's well known.
Very well known. Here's the problem. And it came out last night because Michelle Bednar won by a rather considerable margin.
And this is what can hurt you.
Well, Carolee Medico is well known. In some quarters, she's not well liked. Some of the people who worked in her office said they thought that she was very dictatorial, that she ran with an iron hand. She had, of course, conflicts with the manager, Bob Lawton. He fired her, if you remember. Right. She filed a suit. She was not in favor of the charter. There were some who thought that she would be an obstructionist. However, as a prothonotary, she stopped a lot of wasteful spending. 50-50, she came up short. Michelle Bednar, from Cunningham Township. She's actually from Plymouth originally, but lives in Cunningham Township, outside of Mackinac.
Right.
One of the smallest municipalities in Luzerne County, not really a great population base to start from. That's why a lot of people thought this was a big surprise. She had one very big thing in her corner, and it didn't become obvious until last night. John Yudichak. John Yudichak is a Democrat who knows how to get votes from both sides of the aisle. And he was behind her campaign, and that's why he was standing behind her at all the victory parties last night, and she won. Now, here are two sound bites. I put them back to back. Michelle Bednar is first. Carolee Medico is next. This is what they had to say last night.
What I bring to the office is that my office will be open and transparent, and I will always be available to the public, and I will work very hard to make sure our taxpayer dollars are being spent wisely. And when I do audits, I will make sure that all the audits are done the right way, and if there should be a red flag that comes up, that I will make sure that the right authorities are accounted for.
Well, I believe once you're in the courthouse and once you're in government, that's where politics goes out. And I have never, ever done anything or taken on a job that it was Democrat or Republican. It's for good government and, in a professional way, and this is my goals, and this has always been my goals. I've never looked to what party you are, what party you are what party you're not. So I'm actually apolitical. I'm in this race with both parties helping me.
There you go.
She said last night that she will not run for another elected office. Michelle Bednar, now, if you listen to that, her answers to the media last night were less than articulate. Now, whether that was because she was nervous or whatever, she is being jumped on a lot of different quarters this morning, so she's got a lot to prove.
Obviously, something else that we need to talk to our L.A. Tyrone about is the Hazleton City Council race. What it was 2 Democrats, 3 Republicans. Now it's switched up a little bit. Do you think that's going to have any...
Party affiliation in Hazleton government has never meant anything. I remember covering the 1992 City Council election that pitted 2 Republicans as running mates with Democrat John Quigley against Republican John Ford and his 2 Democrat running mates. This, I think, was a referendum on the policies of Mayor Joe Iannuzzi. And Joe got hit real hard when he raised the tax hike. Mm-hmm. That annoyed a lot of people. The landlord's ordinance is unpopular. The discussion of the sewer fee. And remember, Joe was the first plurality mayor in history, won with 47% of the vote.
Right.
Nobody had ever won with fewer than 50%. He had 2 years to try to win public support. Obviously, the candidates he backed lost last night, so that didn't happen. So now it's a matter of, can Joe and a city council who is not predisposed to support him work together to get anything done, or is this going to be a standoff for the next 2 years with nothing done? And they've actually got veto-proof majorities to repeal the landlord's ordinance or virtually anything else they want. 3-2 to pass. 4 votes, you override a mayor's veto in this form of government. They conceivably could have 4 votes to undo a lot of what the previous council has done for the last 2 years.
I mean, obviously, you see at city council meetings what goes down and how the feelings are about mayor, just like you said.
Yeah, very hot.
Jack Mundy doesn't agree with the mayor on virtually anything. Yeah. You have Gene Moak that is in the same wavelength with Jack Mundy.
I don't think you can do that either, though, because even if the guy is on the other side and you disagree with him in general, every once in a while you've got to put the guard down and be willing to compromise to get something done. I mean, if you can't get, for example, a budget enacted, you're not doing anything except making both sides look bad. You're not doing anything to help anybody. You're not going to save anybody anything. You're not assisting residents if you can't get a budget done on time and things like that. I've known Dave Sosa for a long time. I know Jack Mundy for a long time. And Jeff Cassett, for that matter. I think there's enough where, even though they're going to be on opposite sides of the fence in a lot of things, that some things they can turn the damper down a little bit and come to meetings. And I think Yanuzzi should start going to council meetings now as a sign of goodwill to be able to reach compromise on things.
Anything surprise you out of that?
That the three... No, I wasn't surprised at that at all. I thought that was what was going to happen, and it did. Okay. And it did. You could just feel people are very unhappy with the direction of the city. And it's major things like spending, landlords ordinance, all the stuff that aren't popular. It's little things like people complain about the quality of the streets all the time. The fact that there's garbage blowing around. And that, City Hall really can't control that, but City Hall takes the blame for it anyway. People are not happy.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens come January when they take those seats.
They got 45 days to open the budget and change, by the way. The budget
February 15th.
They got till February 15th. That's
all right. Well, we'll see what happens. Thank you so much, LA, as always. And now it's time to go back outside with our chief meteorologist, Joe Garbacek. Joe?
Hey, you know what? With the wind blowing as it is, these corn stalks actually feel like they're becoming alive and trying to hit me because it is windy right here in the backyard. But the good news is, you know what? It continues to be fairly mild. 50s we have in most locations right now, but the wind definitely a factor across our region. If you think these winds are bad tonight, go back in 1913. How about this storm? Had hurricane force winds, took a westerly path, but it was known as the Freshwater Fury, the Big Blow and White Hurricane. Very low pressure and intense storm system. Definitely one to remember back in 1913. We have the complete 7-day forecast, as long as these corn stalks don't whack me in a hit anymore after these come in a little bit.
All Care Home Care, the health care that you need in the comfort and privacy of your own home.
At All Care Home Care, our caring and compassionate staff of skilled nurses, occupational, speech, physical therapists, dietitian, social worker, and home health aides will give you the professional care you need. Call 459-3002.
With All Care Home Care, you will feel so much better and be able to do so much more.
Remember, it's still your choice. For your care, call us and we'll be there.
Wouldn't it be great if everything in life were fast? Fast, like a cable modem.
Call Service Electric now and get the fastest internet in town. Plus, when you sign up today, you'll also get free installation. Experience the blazing speed of Service Electric high-speed internet service. Your internet will never be the same.
Diamond quality moments. Choose Sophie Jewelers, specializing in custom diamond engagement rings, located in the Coal Creek Plaza, Route 61, St. Clair.
Weatherwood is a privately owned 200-bed nursing and rehabilitation center.
Nestled within the quiet town of Weatherly, PA, we offer our residents and their families tranquil and scenic views from just about anywhere in the building. We are located within minutes of Hazleton General Hospital, as well as major metropolitan medical and trauma centers in the Lehigh Valley. Whispering Meadows is a 50-bed secured dementia unit within our facility. Whether you need short-term, long-term, or respite stay, call or stop by today for a tour.
Award-winning children's recording artist Laurie Berkner will bring her music to Hazleton when the Laurie Berkner Band performs at the Wiltsey Center at the Historic Castle on Saturday, November 23rd at 2 p.m. Doors open at 12:30. Tickets may be purchased through wiltseycenter.org or at Ticketmaster retail outlets including select Boscov's and Walmart locations. The Laurie Berkner Band, November 23rd at the Wiltsey Center at the Historic Castle.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, Dr. John and Dr. Stacy are going to give us some very helpful advice. As the seasons change, you're raking those fall leaves or shoveling that winter snow, they're going to give us some advice on how you can do so safely. And if you do have a few aches and pains, they're going to tell you what you can do and introduce you to some great products that can help you feel better. It's all coming up this week on Let's Talk Chiropractic. Join us.
Earlier today, in a repeat of last year's final, Novak Djokovic faced off with Roger Federer in the men's singles Group B of the ATP World Tour Finals in London.
Serbian attempting to end the year by dislodging Rafa Nadal as world number one, took the opening set 6-4. But the 32-year-old 17-time Grand Slam winner showed flashes of his former brilliance in the second set, eventually taking the tiebreak 7-2. Djokovic had beaten Federer in the semi-finals of the Paris Masters just 3 days ago and took control of the deciding set. Djokovic closed out a 6-4, 6-7, 6-2 victory in 2 hours and 22 minutes to join Argentina's Juan Martín del Potro at the top of the group standings. It was Federer's first opening match defeat at the Tour Finals since 2008.
Also facing off in London today, two of the unbeatens in the ATP World Tour Finals, Rafa Nadal and Stan Wawrinka.
Wawrinka produced one of his best performances of the year after falling behind to a break of serve in the fifth game of the first set. The Swiss number 7 seed broke back to level at 5-all with Nadal serving for the set. A closely fought tiebreak ensued, and at the most crucial of moments, 6-5 down and with an open court at his mercy, Wawrinka seemed to stumble into a volley, handing the set to Nadal. The second set followed the pattern of the first, with Nadal breaking early to lead 3-1 and Wawrinka refusing to give in and breaking back. Another tiebreak followed, and this time Wawrinka had a point to level the match and win his first ever set against Nadal. But he couldn't take it, and the world number one held on to his serve and reeled off 3 points in a row to close out the match 7-6, 7-6 after 2.25 hours on court. Nadal, with his second consecutive Group A win in straight sets, qualifies for the semi-finals as a result, and the victory also makes sure that he will finish the season as world number one.
Pro golfers from around the world are prepping for the Turkish Airlines Open in Europe, and a pretty cool stunt was pulled today as things get underway. Tiger Woods drove a golf ball from one continent to another. On the Bosphorus Bridge in Istanbul, which connects Europe and Asia, to make the historic drive. Woods arrived in style in a helicopter and headed to a small tee box in the middle of the bridge before teeing off. Traffic was at a standstill for nearly an hour as the stunt went on. Woods talked to the media afterwards.
It was nerve-wracking because the wind was off the left and oncoming traffic was on my right. Yeah. So if I happen to let it, if I lost it to the right at all, I'm gonna hit some car. So I was trying to hit some draws up against the wind and trying to run it down there, and I hit some pretty good ones down there, which was nice. But if I didn't miss, I missed it left, so to make sure I didn't hit anybody in the cars.
The Turkish Airlines Open begins tomorrow with the final round of golf in the tournament being played on Sunday. Now let's skip over to tonight's scoreboard. First up in the AHL, our Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins were at home tonight, hosting the Syracuse Crunch. They lost 4-3. In the NHL, the Big Penguins dropped the puck 5-1. Chicago wins 4-1, and in the second period, it's Nashville up by 1 goal. Phoenix and Anaheim, they are tied up at 1 and are nearing the end of the first. In the NBA, Philly loses to the visiting Wizards. The Raptors fell to the Charlotte Bobcats, and Indiana wins at home 97-80. The Clips fell to Orlando. Vucevic drops 30 for the Magic. Celtics lose by 2 points to the Jazz, and the Grizzlies fell to New Orleans. Bucks win over the Cavs. Steph Curry held only to 5 points tonight, but the Warriors take it 106-93. Spurs leading by 1 at last check in the fourth, and the Thunder are up 53-51 in the second. Joe's coming back next. Stick around.
The Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home Incorporated at 542 North Wyoming Street in Hazleton, serving the greater Hazleton area since 1890 and still family owned and operated, offers convenient parking, handicapped accessibility, seating for over 150 people, casket, cremation product showrooms to accommodate traditional, cremation, and pre-planned funerals. The Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home Incorporated, 570-454-3341.
Edgewood in the Pines, located in Drums, provides the perfect scenery in any season to complement your wedding or special event. From the spectacular colors of fall, a cozy winter setting, or the plush greens of summer, Edgewood will provide a breathtaking setting for your exceptional affair. Edgewood is perfect for weddings, birthday celebrations, showers, baptism, or any special event. From small intimate gatherings to breathtaking formal affairs, your event is certain to be an amazing experience to remember for years to come. Celebrate at Edgewood in the Pines.
During these changing times, is your insurance program up to date? I'm local Allstate agent Gary McNeilis. I invite you to come into our office or give us a call. We'll help you be sure that you have the proper coverage to take care of all your family's needs at a price you can afford. Now more than ever, you need to be in good hands to protect everything that's important to you. Our team of insurance professionals and I will be honored to serve you. Are you in good hands?
S.J. Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric, Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600. Enjoy the great outdoors at the Whitetail Preserve Shooting Range's Trap, Skeet, and Sporting Clays course. No waiting and no lines. First time shooting? Whitetail Preserve employs certified instructors to help you get the most out of your experience. Hungry? The restaurant at Whitetail has a great menu to satisfy and offers catering for all occasions. Whitetail Preserve Shooting Range, approximately 13 miles west of Hazleton and just 1 hour from Allentown, Reading, and the Delaware Water Gap. 118 Boulevard Road, just off the Rockland Road near Rockland. 384-2314.
Hello, I'm Tiffany Cloud. Democrat Matt Cartwright is the freshman congressman representing the 17th District in Pennsylvania, but he already has challengers for that position. In his first televised interview, one candidate, Matthew Dietz, a Republican for the 17th District seat, will join me this week on The Storm, only on WYLN TV.
Well, taking a look at our Live 35 Skycast Doppler, we continue to be dry across northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Not the case as you head toward northwestern PA. You can see the leading edge of some rain, even some heavier bands as indicated by the yellows and even a little bit of some oranges you see here. That is going to start to make its way into our area, but that should hold off until after the midnight hour, at least here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Our lively high tire conditions outside our station in Hazleton, we're at 51 degrees, pressure coming in at 29.94 inches of mercury. We've been dry since midnight. We'll stay dry right through the next hour, so we won't have to worry about any precipitation, but it continues to be a little windy out there. 5 to 15 mile per hour winds, even some of those gusts in excess of that. Low temperatures, though, generally in the 40s in most locations, and today, man, it will manage to get up into the 50s. Look at 71 getting up to in Pittsburgh, and right now temperatures holding for the most part in the 50s, including up in the Wyoming Valley area, winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here comes the rain in northwestern PA, clouds on the increase across the northeast. That rain will start to come through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning and part of the afternoon hours, and then it's gone. The front comes through. It brings in some brisk and cold conditions, and it's going to be blustery out there as we head into our Friday with the winds, and it's going to feel kind of chilly. I just don't got good words about that type of forecast. I just don't got good words. Is that's an interesting phrase? Okay. We can coin that one in for one of Joe's hits, and this darn chair is making me short. I'm having a bad night.
You got attacked by a cornstalk.
And I've been attacked with a cornstalk. I can't talk right. My chair's low, so I'm like a midget.
And that's only the start of it, everyone. That's only
it's Friday.
It's
boy,
right.
Oh boy.
It's only Wednesday.
It's all right. It's Wednesday, but it's also Mike Moran's birthday. So
hey,
I
happy
think
birthday,
if you see
Michael.
Mike Moran, operations manager here at WILN, make sure you wish him a very happy birthday. Tomorrow's Beth's. Happy birthday. All right, we will see you all tomorrow. Topic 8, 5:30, late edition at 10. Have a wonderful night.